Hey y'all, it's been a while. So last video I made was right before the election. And if you haven't been following the news, there's a lot of terrible things going on out there right now. I went on a knowledge binge last night and just started watching a little bit of everything. The state of Germany currently. All the people Trump has fired. Elon Musk using his child as a human shield. What's really funny too is he's a small child, so he only like comes up to Elon's crotch. But still, if he ventures maybe within 1 foot away, he's already grabbing him back by his head. Crazy. Anyway, man, I could talk about politics and stuff all day, but I feel like I've exhausted that with a lot of my friends and family today. Just the state of the world we're in is you could make an awful deck of cards of all the possibilities, and you have things like The Handmaid's Tale and 1984, Brave New World, stuff like that comes to mind. Like, what are the possibilities? What kind of dystopian fucking nightmare are we up against? I'm glad I'm a good shot, but now I think I need to actually take my gun out a little more and get more familiar with it. And also, I have a bow and arrow for some fucking reason, so why not, right? I'm tired of thinking about politics, though. So today, let's go into. This is gonna be a sad one. The next one will be happier. When is it time to say goodbye to your dogs? So, I was never an animal person when I was young. I wasn't taught to love and honor animals as if they were family members. Dogs were kind of like accessories or just something you have to guard your house to give the illusion that there's something there that's a little scarier than a human with a gun, possibly. And we didn't have like big, scary dogs. We had sheep dogs, which was funny. So, still, I don't know why. Nobody really took care of them, nobody really pet them or made sure that they got regular care or bathing or walking or anything like that. So it was just like a thing when I was young. And coming to meet Mondo, who is like the animal whisperer, loves dogs, animals love him, all animals. And I'm just like astounded that this person I met, who is like one of the coolest, also darkest people I've ever met as far as sense of humor and personality goes, has this incredible heart and soft spot for animals. And he taught me what it's all about to have a dog and one that loves you. And so I've gotten that experience, and now I'm a dog and animal person. We also have birthed a child who I used to laugh and say that like I married Ace Ventura and birthed Eliza Thornberry, if you know who those folks are. They're animal whisperers in fiction, but it's true. My child used to be able to just walk up to birds and grab them like pigeons, and it's a picture we have of them. Parakeets are just covered all over them in a house, not like in a bird enclosure. It's just like, oh, the birds are out and they're on my child, just chilling, and kiddos having a great time having little parakeets on them. So um, there's something to be said about that. And the more I love animals and have come to find that they're a part of my everyday life, the more I realize how intuitive they are and how pure their love is. And some of them like wag their tails on their death day because they just don't know and they can't imagine that they would be going to die for some reason. So I love the animals, and I've had to see some out already. And in our time, the animals that we've gotten together as a married couple have started off with cats. Because we couldn't have dogs in our apartment. It was just impossible with us always being gone, and there was like an extra fee and all that. But for some reason, cats were easier. Like, they chill on the balcony or whatever, and some just kind of adopted us. We found one on Craigslist from a guy who couldn't have them. So, first two cats each had run away. So we had that weird non-closure of like, shit, whatever happened to them? And they'd be long dead by now. But um, they were named Odin and Ares. We had this pattern going on of like gods and goddesses, and cool name for a little sidekick creature, right? Odin became Lilith's best friend, but one of our friends babysat, and he ran away and never came back. So we never knew what happened. Um, the next cat we got was Xena, who in some point or form will show up in this video. She likes walking through my screens while I'm busy doing things. So, Xena was a kitten from one of my sister's litters, and she was born in 2009. So that makes her 16. She's an old cat. But her name is Xena because she is the warrior princess. She has had injuries since birth and has survived all of them. And we think part of the reason she survived is because she's out there eating lizards and bringing home mice and birds and stuff. She is a killer. She's brought so many things to us, for us as gifts. You know, they think that you're not hunting adequately enough and feeding yourself, even though they watch us eat every day. We have had patterns where she decimates entire lizard population in our backyard, and we're just seeing remnants of lizards showing up on our doorstep and in our shoe or whatever, or let them loose. We've had a few let loose in our house before, like mice at large, and that's no fun. There's still like blood trails I haven't cleaned up from some of these animals. But if I were to bury everything she's ever brought me, I'd have a haunted graveyard in the backyard. So she's still around. She's got a broken fang and a white toe from an injury she had a long time ago. She's got thyroid issues. She's going to go in for grooming on Saturday for all of her filthy mats. She's going to get all shaved down like a tiny little skinny thing that she is. Can't believe she's still around. She's outlasted a lot of them. Dogs. Dog-wise, Abigail is our Chihuahua Terrier who is still around. We think she's 17. We've had her since also 09 actually, or the December of 08, I believe, was our gift to our child. Our sister picked up Abby on the street or from a friend or something like that. Friend couldn't keep Abby. Katie brought her home. Mom was like, not here either. We were looking for a dog though. We were about to move out of the apartment, buy our house, and bring a dog into our new home we were going to buy. So that was 09, and Abby is still around. And so in that time, we've also picked up a couple of old men dogs. Old Bruce was a Australian cattle dog. Beautiful boy. Oily, deaf, blind, could still walk, could still see a little bit. Still real cheery. Wagged his tail in an ellipse because it had been broken however many times. We come to learn that he knew how to shake hands. He probably knew a whole bunch of tricks. We only had him for a year though before one day on a walk his hip just gave out on him, and the vet told us like there really wasn't anything they could do. He was too old. X-rays showing he'd been hit by a car at some point, and who knows how he had still been kicking around. So we got to give him one good year of life, and it destroyed us just knowing, like, having to take him to the vet. And I'm thinking like, oh, I'm gonna get some meds for him, he's gonna feel better. And that was the last time we got to see him. It was devastating. And out of the blue, we just thought we were gonna be going for a walk, and he didn't. We take him to the vet and he didn't come home. So that was my first experience with losing an animal. Getting emotional only because it was like so hard and not anticipated in any way that was even a possibility that could happen. Then we got Miss Freya, because when we didn't come home with Bruce, Abigail felt lost. Her friend was gone. She went upstairs with us to go to bed and then ran back downstairs looking for him. Like, where is he? We can't go to bed without Bruce. So she was very devastated as well. Fast forward, we go and look for another dog. We meet Freya. Freya is the biggest dachshund one has ever seen. She's dachshund, chow chow, and something else. We got her DNA tested, but she's like the largest. We call her the queen of the dachshunds. She could lead the army of dachshunds with her little chainmail. We always envisioned her a certain way. She's very defiant, very majestic. That's how she got the name Freya. Pretty as can be until her last days. She didn't look old when she went, but she had gotten diagnosed with lung cancer, and it was in the middle. And if they have it out in the outer branch, they can usually cut the piece out and the dog can heal and be okay. But that did not happen for Freya. She had it towards the middle and it was inoperable, and so we tried everything we could, homeopathic stuff, turkey tail mushroom supplements for dogs. We swear by it. They had given us 6 months with her when we got her like diagnosed from an actual cancer center for dogs, and she lasted like a few years. And I think we owe it to that, just putting turkey tail in her food every day, and so we started giving it to Abby, and we think maybe that's why Abby is 17 and still hanging around too. And she's also got cancer. She's got a tumor on her shoulder that's metastasizing and working its way inward. But so after we got Freya, we decided a third dog maybe would be good for us too. And somewhere along the line, we got Mr. Smokey. Smokey from one of our friends who was telling us, like, he's a good cat, man. He'll go potty with you. You know, if you open the door, leave a cat box in there, he'll join you. He's a sweetheart. He's no trouble. And that's what we come to find, too. It was like, he was a good boy. So we took him in. We've had Smokey for what was supposed to be a couple weeks, turned into be like 8 years. He also went from cancer, actually from like kidney issues, and he had tumors in his face. So he had to have like teeth removed, and he had a neck bulge that we had to get cut off, and he had 9 lives, man. He had a good run. But he too, he went to the vet and didn't come back. We didn't have to put him down. His body gave up at the vet. That was also very sad, especially because Smokey was our child's best friend, basically, of all the animals, and Freya was Mondo's. And Freya passed at home while I was here. And that was very sad for me. I had to take the day off work. I was supposed to host a meeting that day. I'm like, there's just no way, man. Like, all I can do is look at her over there. I can see right now, like, where on the ground that she passed. And kind of haunts me a little bit. It's very devastating. And that was Mondo's best friend of animals. And he has not recovered. That happened in September. September 5th, 2024. Smokey went October 4th, 2024. So within 30 days of each other. And then Abby started getting really sick. I was like, we can't do this again. This sucks. And also we know that Xena is old. She's 16 for a cat. So, all this to say, how do you know when it's time to let go? It's a hard question to answer in your feelings, but when you've had the experience of going through it before, it gets a little bit easier because you know you've made the right decision. And so, something I've learned that pet owners do, which I cannot believe, is they get rid of their dogs as they start aging. We just adopted a new little man. Renfield! If he comes back, I'll show you. He fits in one hand. He's like a chicken. He's all Chihuahua, and he's the sweetest Chihuahua there ever was. He's not a grouchy one or an angry one. He does bark sometimes at the cat, and he barks when he's excited or wants to eat, but it's a very small, little, cute bark that's like a puppy, and he's 10 years old. We think somebody maybe surrendered him because he's 10. And to us, he's a puppy. He's a toddler because it's the most energy we've seen in our house in a very long time. Abby certainly doesn't have it anymore. She used to be a spring and bounce off the couch and bounce off the ramps and haul ass around the backyard. And she can't do all that anymore. She can barely walk. So we got him to help ease her because when Freya went, she got really upset. Really upset. Like, her health started declining. And we think that it might have been because of that. Like, she starts understanding, really. She's outlived all the animals. She outlived Smokey, Freya, Bruce, and Lemmy the Shiba Inu that we had. That was our third dog that I was getting to. He was also already like 10 when we got him, and we only had him for about 4 years, but I guess sheeps last about 13 to 15 years. I didn't know that. And he went from glaucoma in both eyes, which is very painful, like a migraine for both eyes, perpetually. And he was going deaf, and he was walking into walls and stuff. I had to hand feed him, like literally put food in my hand and put it in front of his face I think even his sense of smell was starting to go. So he's going to be my example here. When to know when it's time to let go. He was the cutest dog ever. I love Shiba Inus. They hold a special place in my heart. They're just like dog, cat, fox, bears, all in one. And they have really big personalities, and they have funny little croissant tails that wag like that. And he did all the regular Shiba Inu stuff. Just the silly. He was super stubborn. He like, he made that sound. He did funny sounds, like Shiba Inu sounds, when he was to go, "Hey, Lemmy, you want dinner?" So silly. As he started declining, we could see his eyes getting foggy. So we take our dogs in regularly for their shots and all that, and then get an exam once in a while and check out their teeth and their blood work. And that's kind of, we started learning that, Lemmy was going downhill. And another thing he used to do would bring me a toy. Anytime any one of us came home, he would look for something frantically to present to us. A toy, a sock, drag a shoe over, a piece of trash, like anything that looked like he could grab it and present it to us, like, "I have something for you, my love." I even have a whole Instagram set of posts of like shit Lemmy has brought me upon presenting to me when I got home. The cutest thing ever. So at one point he stopped doing that. And then he stopped making happy sounds for dinner. "Hey, it's dinner time. You want dinner?" He would just kind of look like, "Okay." He stopped wagging his tail for a lot of things. Like, he wouldn't get excited for treats anymore. He didn't care about getting pet anymore, or favorite spots that dogs have. A lot of them have their neck or their back of their head or something like that. He quit responding to it. And then when it really got bad, we thought maybe he had dementia or something, because he looked like he was getting lost, just walking in spaces that were like, "Why are you going there?" Little narrow U-shaped space, like chair here, wall over here, wall over here. And he would just go into this dead end and stop and like that John Travolta meme. He did that all the time. And then come to couple that up with, you call him, he doesn't hear you. You got to call him to where your voice reverberates and he could feel the vibration, and then he would look around. And then he started walking into walls. And if that wasn't bad enough, of course, like I said, I had to hand feed him towards the end. And then the very last thing was, he wasn't getting up to use the restroom. He would just sleep in a bed and pee and poop in it. And so at one point, I don't know if a vet told me or friends told me, but if you take the last 3 things that a dog loves the most, and you see that they no longer enjoy those last 3 things, and they don't have happiness anymore, and they're not enjoying their life, it's time. And so it was like, he's not playing with toys. We see that. He's not wagging his tail for treats or food. He's not wagging his tail at all. And the last straw was restroom in the bed. So we threw him a party, like an end of life party, kind of like a funeral, but happy, and invited friends and family over, anybody who wanted to come. I didn't be like, "Come to this party for my dog dying." It was just like, "Hey, if you enjoyed Lemmy at all over the last few years, come and say goodbye." Lemmy, by the way, he was named after Lemmy from Motorhead. It fit. We even bought him a little black cowboy hat. It just, he hated it, but it looked really cute on him. So my mom came over and like tried to feed him chicken, his favorite thing. He did eat it, but still, you had to like mush it in his face. "Hey man, there's food here." And took lots of pictures of him, and like put his we have some outfits that we had, like costumes and stuff. He was like an Ewok at one point from Star Wars. And Freya was Chewbacca, and Abby was R2-D2. We were all also dressed like Star Wars characters at Halloween. It's pretty fun, pretty epic. But yeah, he had a little party. I set up a little shrine for him with like a little happy rainbow tablecloth, and all the best pictures I printed out of him and made a little collage. All my favorite ones where he's just doing silly shit or things I remember that he used to do, like when he would pee, he would kick the grass so violently that his whole body would go like in a circle, kickity kickity kickity. So it was entertaining as hell. Loved him. Not sure I'd get another sheep after that stubborn ass. Man, that's just how they all are. They're really stubborn. Noted. Um, Freya was getting to that point too. Everything hurt. She coughed a lot because she had lung cancer. So when dogs have lung problems, they cough and they have a hard time breathing. And she went suddenly. It was like she was okay, and then all of a sudden she was having labored breathing, and it got worse and worse and worse. And nothing I did made it any more easier or comfortable. And it was like by day 3, that was it. She gave up. Her body gave up. There was no more. And towards that end, she was still showing signs of happiness. There were still little tail wags and enjoyment, and Dad is her person, so she would always be cuddling with him, and she's very jealous and possessive. So even if I would like rub his feet, something he would enjoy, she would try and wedge her body in between and make this sound of dissatisfaction, which was humph. She had so much personality. Love Freya so much. I had to paint her immediately. It's one of my coping mechanisms for losing an animal is painting my dogs. So I have paintings of all of my past animals. Or pictures of some sorts that I've drawn. And so, Abigail. Now we're at her. She still has a waggy tail. She's food driven. So her happiest time of the day, every single day, is breakfast and dinner. She tries to jump and run and spin, and she has like a big smile and all that kind of thing. With her shoulder tumor, so she's already kind of limping because it's on her front left, and it's huge. She's a Chihuahua Terrier, and this thing is like this big on her shoulder, so it looks scary. And it's not something we could drain. They can't remove it. They won't because she's too old. She just might not wake up from surgery. We've tried doing chemo on it. It didn't reduce it or stop it from growing, so we took her off chemo because it's expensive, number one. Number two, why put her body through all that shit if it's just not helping? So I was like, let's just let her retire the nicest way possible, not on medication, and let's give her her favorite foods, her steak and her chicken. She loves human food. She doesn't like broccoli. She's like a little kid. Oh, hi, Abigail. It's like she knew I was talking about her. She just hobbled over here. And so last month, she was doing real bad. She hurt her back leg. So a front and a diagonal back opposite leg. 2 legs. So she's doing this real bad hobbling. Remind me of a car with like 2 flat tires. Just this thing is crazy looking, trying to get through, point A to point B. And it got to a point where we had to carry her everywhere. Up the stairs, down the stairs, place her in bed, place her in her bed, place her in front of her water, place her outside to go potty. And I'm just not ready. She's my baby. Lilith had Smokey. Mondo had Freya. Abby's always been mine. I took her to the vet, almost like a one last Hail Mary. Freya had a arthritis shot that like restored new life into her somehow. She almost looked like a puppy again. She was hurting a lot towards her end, and then we got this shot called Librela that's just for dogs, arthritis, and it's an all-over treatment. And boy, did it really restore Freya's ability to walk around and enjoy life and shit. Towards the very end, no more walks. Like, we could put her in a stroller and walk her outside, that kind of thing. Or, like, just walk her to the mailbox and that's it. Very close, And so I took Abby as my fucking Hail Mary. Like, I'm not ready, man. We just lost Freya and Smokey a few months ago. And I can't yet. So I took her to the vet last week on my vacation. Got her the shot, and they also went over the whole list of the full everything of her medical history. She had 19 teeth pulled at one time, and Um, yeah, she's got this tumor now, and she's got eye cherries. Like, she looks old as fuck. She has what we call them old lady lumps, but they just look like cancerous moles or something that keep developing little cauliflower looking. They look like warts, kind of, but pink and fleshy because her skin is pink under her white fur. And the doctors are like, yeah, there's not really anything you can do. Like, old dogs get these things, and you can remove them, but it's cosmetic. They don't bother the dog. Well, that's kind of bullshit because Abby tries to bite hers open. So we have to spray hot spot stuff on it. Anyway, she got her shot. They also gave me painkiller, and they got an x-ray of her leg, and it turns out she has a friggin' torn ACL on her back leg, which is why she's limping on it, and it hurts. And they would normally do surgery if it was a young dog, but again, old dog, can't touch it. So they said, well, there's a splint you can do, there's like a laser treatment you can do, you can actually buy this thing on Amazon yourself, and it's supposed to speed up the recovery process. Very successful for dogs. So we're debating that. You could put a leg brace on for them, you can ice it, and then they go, here's what we're going to do. Those are your possibilities at home. But we're also going to send you home with like a painkiller that also helps her sleep because she needs bed rest. So she's got the arthritis shot and the sleepy pill that relieves pain. It does not make her sleep. She has energy now, and now she can move really well. So she tries to run and jump and shit, and try to tell the dog, like, get your ass in bed. You're supposed to be on bed rest right now, lady. It breathed some kind of new life in her, so I get to have her around for another couple of months at least. And here she comes again, so I'm going to show you her. Come here. Come here, baby. My football. This is Miss Abigail. My 17-year-old dog. There's her tumor. It's so big. Love you so much. This is one of her favorite things, is licking. We call it cleaning our brains because she'll get her friggin' long tongue right up your nose. And since she loves licking us so much, it's one of the things we just let her do. Like, yep. Oh, she got me right in the mouth that time. Gross. But if a 17-year-old doggy enjoys doing the damn thing, let him do the damn thing, right? It doesn't do any harm. I can easily wash my face or mouthwash or whatever, but we've been letting her do this, so if it brings her joy, it brings her joy. She's never been a dog that plays with toys, but she always will do anything for treats or a bite off of your plate, or she likes running around in the sun. She likes hanging out with other dogs. She can't go for walks anymore, but she still enjoys things like a dog park. Or if we go to the vet, there's always a little area for them to go potty and sniff and stuff. She just loves sniffing all the smells. And now that we've got Renfield, she's less lonely. She doesn't cry, and she's not all sad, and her medical conditions seem to be improving. So there's definitely something to be said about if you've got a pack animal and they suddenly lose their pack, get them more. Get them another animal, another person for themselves to hang out with. She doesn't necessarily love Ren. He's a little rambunctious for her. He tries to play with her, and she's just like, I'm old, leave me alone. But she's not lonely anymore. Like, she understands that this pack is going to keep going. Are you good? Love this lady so much. I'm actually glad to have her on video here, because we were just lamenting the other day about how we don't have her bark on camera a whole lot. And it's almost like I'm starting to forget what her bark is like. But every dog has their own bark, their own sounds, their own smell even. And Mondo was even saying the other day, like, I still remember what Freya smells like. And this one's always been a stinky one. Even if you give her a bath, and I'll always remember her smell too. But she's my little lady. I love you very much. Thank you so much. I'm going to put you down now, okay? Maybe Renfield and Gina will grease us with their presents. Say bye. I'm going to put you down now. There you go. Even though Freya and Smokey were not my little besties. I love the shit out of them, and I have a hole in my heart for both of them. I will say though, I wasn't sure we were gonna get another dog right away. We were gonna just let Abigail have her peaceful retirement basically until we realized she was sad. So then we're like, we gotta go look. We gotta see if there's another animal out there that wants to adopt us. 'Cause that's kind of what we do. Um, let's try them out. Let's see how they are and how they like us. If the animal doesn't like us, we're not gonna bring him home. And so when we got Freya, it was right after Bruce died. My whole face is wet. Good Lord. And so uh, we went and looked, and it seemed like none of the other dogs really gave a shit that we were there. They were like looking at the families that had toddlers, or some of the dogs were just sleeping and had zero interest in coming and looking at humans. Some were in cages, some were apprehensive and didn't want to look around. Freya stood right up in her pen and came immediately to us and had a waggy tail. It's like she chose us. Like, you guys smell like kids and dogs and stuff. Safe place, right? So they let me walk her around the store. And then meanwhile, Mondo, I think, had to go get Abigail to see how they would jive, or I don't know how that went. He had to go somewhere. Maybe take Lilith somewhere. I don't remember, but I do remember that they let me walk Freya on one of those loose leashes. It's just like a rope in a loop around the store. And like, she was good for me. She jumped on me and asked for pet. She rolled over and showed me her belly, which is always a sign of like submission and acceptance and things like that. So I was like, damn, she likes me right away. I have a history of female dogs not liking me. I used to have a friend that her dog bit me every fucking time it saw me. And it was a girl. It was a Dalmatian, which I understand are not happy dogs anyway. But my history with female dogs was not great before Abigail. So I thought Abby was my anomaly. Like, she's a female dog that loved me immediately. When we met Abby, she ran right over and almost knocked me over with what we call a dog hug. When they stretch on you with their paws, like that. That's a dog hug. We're trying to train Renfield to do it now because he kind of does it. We're just trying to associate that word with what he's doing. It's a stretch. It's a big stretch. But when they do it on you, it's a big stretch on you. It's a hug and a kiss. Or sometimes, like, Abby used to nuzzle in Mondo's beard while giving him hugs. And so she used to give us hugs almost on command. And then she was only giving it to him. So, like, I had a note in my phone. The last time Abby actually gave me a dog hug was January last year, which I think really was the last time. But it was sad, like, watching her do that less because she can't. She also can no longer go up the ramps that we built for her to get on the couch or on the bed, which is why we're airlifting. We had to do that for Freya too towards the end. But Freya was part dachshund. She's long, so they have back issues and stuff like that. It was to be expected with Freya. Abby is also kind of long, which is weird. Chihuahua Terriers are not known for being long-ass dogs, but she does have a bit of length to her. She's kind of light to me. I carry her every day. Freya was like 23 pounds. Abby's, I think, 13-ish. I don't remember, honestly. Maybe more than that. Ren's only like 6. That's why I call him a chicken. He literally, like, he's not much bigger than this stuffed animal. In fact, he might even be this size. Yeah, that's about right. That's how big Ren is. This is Tuna. If you don't know who Tuna Melts My Heart on Instagram is, he was that famous meme because of the way that his mouth is shaped or malformed or whatever. He's still alive, and I love him to death. I'll actually be devastated when he actually dies. As you can tell, I have a stuffed animal of him and his stuffed animal that he has, Colin. Yep, definitely an animal person now. I feel like that came with therapy, too. Therapy is not just a thing to talk about your problems and your feelings, by all means. It's more of taking accountability for the asshole you've become. That's really what I've learned it is nowadays. It's uncovering your shittiest qualities and discovering where they came from, learning from them, learning new behaviors, and moving forward and leaving that shit in the past. Part of it is like forgiving yourself too. But anyway, that's gonna be another video. So all this to say that We knew when it was Lemmy's time, and we put him down, and it was hard. There's no way you can prepare for it. But when all their happy joys are gone, you can't do that to them and just keep them around for you. We were heading to that direction with Abby, where both me and Mondo are like, can't lose her yet. It's not time. But it's also getting selfish because she only has a waggy tail 2 times a day when it's time to eat. Now that she's got this new medicine, she's a little more waggy and happy and still really enjoys certain things and doesn't cry or anything like that. So, so far so good. Maybe we have a couple months with her, and I couldn't be happier. And Mr. Wren is 10, but he's a little man, and he's a little rambunctious man, and he's also missing a whole bunch of teeth. His mouth looks like this guy's mouth. It's one of the reasons I love him. He looks derpy as hell with his derpy mouth. Precious. It kind of looks like he's dissatisfied all the time because his mouth is like... Love this little guy. He's my Velcro boy. That's another thing I didn't realize I needed. Like a little animal that just wants to be on me all the time. And like when I'm working, he comes to the side of my chair and does the dog hug thing. He puts his hands up as high as he can and he stretches. And then he boops my leg with his nose. And we call that uppies. He's asking for uppies. Like a toddler. Because he really is like a little kid. He's also not super smart. I mean, you know, Chihuahua that's that size. He's got like a walnut brain. It's like this big. Not smart. I don't care. He is the most precious thing. He's very soft. He's snuggly. Every time I wake up, he's on me somewhere. On my face, on my arm, on my leg, wherever. On my bladder. It's his favorite spot. On anyone, that's his favorite spot. But yeah, love your dogs while you have them. It's never enough time. And that is when you know it's time to go. So, if you're ever questioning, I'm a good person to ask, man. Should I try and take them to the vet and get medicine? Sure. Maybe it's for you. Maybe that's what you need to hear. That's like the last thing. Something the vet likes to say that sets the mood, that helps you get there, is we can make them more comfortable for you. What that means is they can give them a medication that will make him sleep all day. They gave us that option for Bruce. Bruce or Lemmy? I don't remember. You know, when you live for over 4 decades, a lot of things blur together. I don't remember what things happened in what decade in some cases. It feels like 2008 was only like 5 years ago. It's fucked up. Sometimes I look back at things, I'm like, damn, that was... I go, oh, it's only 20 years ago. Mondo's like, babe, no, that was in the 90s. I'm like, oh, shit. Whoops. But yeah, I lose track of time. I forget which dog that was. Mondo would know. He has a much better memory, especially when it comes to our animals. But that was a phrase that we had heard. We can make him comfortable for you. And I'm like, that's you telling me to let go. So if you ever hear that phrase, that's what they're telling you. And know that it's always going to be a possibility, even if they're not old. I had a friend that lost a 2-year-old dog to cancer. And she was devastated. It was a golden retriever. I couldn't imagine losing a beautiful golden baby. That would be devastating to me too. Lilith had a golden retriever for a little while when they moved out. And due to a shitty roommate situation, the roommate took the dog and left. And it sucked because we were starting to call it like our grandbaby for a while. And the dog was sweet as hell. It did this thing that was the cutest thing. Whenever she anticipated that food was coming, she would, like, her mouth would shudder. Some dogs have just the cutest little quirks. Renfield! I'd really like to get him in here before I turn this off because it's about time. I'm wrapped up for this topic. It went way longer than I expected. But anyway, maybe next time. Yeah, that was Abby again. She's telling me she's hungry for dinner. I wonder her happiness is. So on that note, we'll close it up. I'm going to go feed my babies. Probably have dinner with them. I guess there's some order you're supposed to do it in. Like, you have to eat first and show them you're eating first, and then feed them, and it shows them that you're the alpha. And that's one of the ways that they respect you. That's so crazy to me. Um, I don't normally pay attention to that sort of thing, but whatever. If it helps restore the order of the house, sure. So on that note, we'll move on to our next video and our next topic. I have a whole bunch now that I actually want to talk about and bring awareness to, or whatever. I've actually had people request videos of me of different things, and much obliged. I'm not gonna say that I'm an expert in any of this shit, but I have tried and used many products, and I am totally down to do product reviews. And I'm not getting paid for any of them, so they're gonna be honest as hell. I can't wait. All right. Peace out. See you guys later.